Thanks for staying with us. So, according to London Financial Times, economic ill fortune, terrorism, illiteracy, poverty, banditry, and kidnapping in Nigeria is teetering the country on the brink and risk becoming a failed state. That's if things don't take a drastic turn. Now, we were actually supposed to have a politician, Senator Mohammed Ali Ndume, as our guest today. Unfortunately, he cancelled, but we also had planned to also have a police, the PRO police, Nigerian police, that's Frank Mba, to be our guest, also to shed light on this issues of insecurity. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Yes, good morning, Mariah, and good morning to the ladies' crew.
Yes, glad to you. I know you are the first police relations officer, and you help us out in this situation, especially because the report reminded us of the definition of a failed state. That's a country that has lost control of its security. And from what we've been gathered so far in the last few months, it seems as though the country indeed has not been able to have a hold on securing lives and properties of Nigerian citizens. In your view, I would like you to share your initial thoughts when you saw this report. How do you think we can ensure safety of Nigerians, especially during this period?
Okay, thank you. Before I talk about how we can, what we're trying to do to ensure the safety of Nigerians, as well as what I think Nigerians can also do to reduce their vulnerability to crimes, let me comment very quickly and very respectfully to the comment that you read out from Financial Times claiming that Nigeria probably is on the brink of becoming a failed state. I want to say that is far from the truth. That is an exaggeration taken too far. Yes, we are having security challenges. Yes, things are tough. We can't deny the fact that we have challenges that has to do with banditry, kidnapping, activities of Boko Haram in some parts of regions of Lake Chad and the rest of them. But even with this, it will be uncharitable for anybody to begin to look at Nigeria as a failed state. Let me tell you, Mariah, security challenges have become a global phenomenon. In countries like Mexico, for example, some of their cities are having murder rates that are as high as 100 per 100,000 citizens. In Central American countries like Honduras, Guatemala, and the rest of them, you have murder rates as high as 171 in every 100,000 citizens. In the United States of America, in 2020 alone, over 42,000 persons died from gun-related violence. As a matter of fact, South Africa has murder rates that's 4 times higher than the global average. And so you have these challenges everywhere. As we speak right now, there are over 100 designated terror groups operating worldwide, even in some of the most advanced economies and some of the countries that have the best index and the rest of them. So what I'm trying to say is we will not abdicate our responsibility. We will continue to work with our international partners. We will continue to work with other countries within the West African sub-region, and we will continue to deepen our intelligence and capacity to...
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I understand what you mean. Yes, there's crime worldwide, but we need to also concentrate on the way that Nigeria is handling the particular ones that affect us. I don't know how many countries have bandits just walking into schools and taking hundreds of students, in Dapchi, in Chibok, in Kankara. I mean, it's just almost, on a regular basis. In countries like America that you have mentioned, they do have gun violence. We hear of people going to schools and shooting kids. But we would find out who did it, why they did it, where they are ending up. We just never hear that about the kidnappings that happen with us. We don't know who these people are, what we're doing to prosecute them, if we have caught them, if they exist. So those are the things that also worry Nigerians. How are we handling these things?
Did you get that, sir?
Yeah, I think I got part of it. I heard when she said something like, Nigerians want to know what we're doing about it, those who we've arrested, how we're prosecuting them, and the rest of them.
Right.
The truth again is when it comes to major security operations like the one that we are carrying, like the one the military members of the Nigerian Armed Forces are carrying, there is need to strike a very healthy, delicate balance between the need and the desire to keep Nigerians informed about what we're doing, and also the need to protect integrity and confidentiality for a lot of operations that are ongoing. The truth is there are so many massive efforts, massive activities going on behind the scene that can never be discussed, that can never be reported. Even when you talk about, for instance, the Ankara boys, the processes that led to their safe return, there were massive activities that went behind the scene that can never be brought to the fore. So, and that's the challenge we have as security operatives, that's the challenge we have as members of the law enforcement communities, because it is not every single thing we do to secure the citizens that we can talk about.
Okay, all right, yes.
So, post the burning and the looting that happened in Lagos, it's almost like there's a new order where our police decide to not exactly carry out their work. They're not out there. I've had 4 attempts at daylight robbery in traffic. 4 attempts post that. And, you know, you see thugs directly hitting at on the glass, saying, give me something else, I'll destroy your car, I'll take from you, in broad daylight at Second Rainbow on the Badagry Expressway. And a lot of times, yesterday was another day. You know, although that was early in the day. Till I drive through, I almost don't see any presence, not at all, of any police officer. And even if you want to discuss it with one of them, you'll be like, what do you want them to do? You people didn't want us. What were the reforms that happened post the NSAS amongst your men, and what exactly is the new direction on security, especially in these times?
Well, the truth here is, if you want to be real, if Nigerians, particularly Lagosians, want to be fair to the police, you will understand and you follow the trajectory of the events and the consequences and of all the events that took place after the NSAS protest. You will understand that what you've seen in Lagos is a gradual but incremental increase and improvement in the protection of lives and property. I will concede and very clearly here that immediately after the NSAS protest, following the massive destruction, the killings of police officers, some of them, their private hands, some of them roasted like barbecue, and Nigerians found even with videos eating them, police stations burnt, police barracks burnt, and police vehicles burnt. Naturally, there was a slowdown in police operations. This slowdown should not be construed as a strike, but it's just natural. If you walk in a police station, for example, the police station has been burnt down, the area commander office burnt down, the entire police patrol vehicles burnt down, their residential homes burnt down. The first thing as an administrator is to try to get these men together. You need to provide them with alternative places where they can sleep. You need to provide new vehicles. You need to restock their everything that they've lost, and then you need to, then you can then begin to put them back on the street. So when you have burnt down a vehicle, taken away all somebody needed to work, it is not possible for the person to begin to operate at optimum level that he was operating before all those destruction. But what you have seen again is that immediately after that incident, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Mohammed Abakadamu, took time to visit all the commands where we recorded those incidents, had a one-on-one talk with these police officers. He stands in local parentis to these police officers. He is their father, he is their leader, and he had close heart-to-heart discussion with them, assured them of welfare, assured them that everything they lost will be restored, and began the process of restocking those police stations. And the moment that was done, you saw the policemen returning to the street in full force, and confidence has been built back. Their morale is high now.
All right.
The equipment have been
let me go on a quick.
That's why move around in Lagos.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation with PRO Frank Mba. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
Staying with us. So we're still on security. Talk about, you're going to ask a question.
So, I just had to...
Let me be sure our guest is still there. Mr. Frank Mba, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, great. Yeah,
okay. So what Financial Times said is that Nigeria is on its way to becoming a failed state. It's a word that has been used locally by people within the country over and over again, and maybe now we're hearing it from the international. It's coming a bit harsh. And a failed state is a state whose political or economic system has become so weak that the government is no longer in control. So we had a statement from the presidency. Well, it wasn't the president, but the presidency, saying only God can help secure the border. We have a country where when you're moving around the country, people are worried that you might get kidnapped. Kidnapping takes place everywhere, in the north, in the south, in the east, every region of this country has experienced kidnapping. Insecurity is not, you're not in doubt about insecurity. Police advise, and I have it from personal experience from a family, that the police advised ransom be paid. So if we say the country is heading into being a failed state, when the security apparatus can no longer use technology to secure the life, people use mobile phones to call and make demands for ransom. And the police is not saying we have technology to investigate where this person is coming from. They are advising you, you better go and pay and save this person. How can you say massive action is taking place when kidnapping is taking place every day? It's as if you are speaking of a different country than the country we are living in. Sir?
Are you there?
Yeah, I lost her temporarily, but I think I got the bulk of her questions. She again went back to the issue of the Financial Times report, and she's questioning my stand. And I want to again say this very respectfully, that people are at liberty to use words the way they choose to. But the truth again is, if Nigeria is a failed state, we'll all have closed up our shops. Even in the, I started by giving you examples of the challenges so many other countries are facing. And I told you that if you go to the Interpol records and the World Crime Index, Nigeria has never been graded as the world murder capital. There are countries and there are cities in the world that are considered the murder capitals of the world. And yet, those countries are existing and nobody. San Pedro, for example, the city in Honduras. San Pedro is considered the murder capital in the world. And you can check it out. San Pedro has 1 per every 171 murders are every 100,000 citizens. And I just drew your attention to the fact that even countries that are strong as United States of America also have got their challenges. There is a global trend, and we must look towards solving the problem. The situation we are in requires more than just core law enforcement approaches. We must tackle.
We're having trouble hearing you very well
I
because...
don't like when our government officials, when people compare us with the worst countries, because they are good countries. They are countries where they have good rates when it comes to securing and all of that.
I think even Mariam, sorry, are you still there? I think Mariam has actually even tried to respond to that, because she has said that, yes, you've mentioned these countries, but we see that people are being caught. We see that people, that the law...
Prosecution.
There's this prosecution.
That was the comparison with the West, with the US and some of those countries. What he's saying is, I remember during the debates I had to prepare, Nigeria was like number 29 on the worst murder rate countries. Yeah. We're not even, in Africa, we're not even top 10. When it comes to those kind of things, we're one of the safest countries. But when we talk about banditry and maybe insurgency, then we can discuss the insecurity around that area. I think we should focus more on the number of kidnappings happening. I think that's where you should.
I think that most of the cases of kidnapping don't even get reported, because the kidnappers will let you know immediately that you don't even bother calling, and people will just pay the ransom and go. So we don't have enough data to contest those figures we are getting worldwide.
I don't know if I can get our guess, because the DSS raised an alarm, which I thought was important for us to discuss. He's gone. Look, I'm told he's gone.
Yeah.
Well,
that would have been a good question to ask him about the alarm that DSS is raising, that some people are planning to bomb some of the public spaces during this period. Also, I would have loved to ask him on what he thought of the what the governor of Borno State said. Remember, he had gone to commiserate with a particular community of people, and he says on his way there, there was no presence of the military, the RRS, you know, and he said these are people that are well equipped, well trained, that we know, that we have had, we sit down with them and we have planned with them that this is where they're supposed to be, and they're not there. So I'd like to know what their challenges are, why they're not present and visible on these roads that kidnapping happens all the time.
What even worries me more is that, you see, when a nation accepts, say, listen, I can't do this anymore. The country is too big for me. I mean, if you don't accept a problem, you're not going to start solving that problem. The truth is, we are over 200 million Nigerians. We have this huge land mass. Maybe it's time for us to actually take this issue of restructuring very seriously. Because we're getting to the point where our internal security, our central security is unable
to secure. We are struggling unsuccessfully to keep it together.
Exactly.
And the police are unable to do it, and they're telling us they are trying their best. But we see people get harassed just driving on the road. You are driving across state borders, and they're having custom officers being killed in trying to align to do their job. So the problems are
how many people have to die? How many people have to be kidnapped before we now totally take the issue of central policing very seriously?
Now, before he left,
local policing very seriously.
Before he left, he said it is beyond security. The issues are beyond security apparatus guiding it. Some of these things are governance issues. Some of them are financial issues. Some of them have to do with policy, constitutional issues. So it is beyond police, the army, or custom or immigration. It is
so who are we direct our question? Is it to the lawmakers? Okay, every day you're going there for meetings. This is time for us to start. We need to discuss this issue.
Well, you know what?
We don't need new laws. We need to enforce the laws that we have already. If we need to,
constitutional review, as I'm saying. Because obviously for some reason, the reason why police is still on that.
We need to decentralize the police. Maybe only that. But for until government is deliberate about funding the right sectors, we are going to remain where we are. The police officer had to go about how their men were attacked, forgetting that this is a call to duty. This is what all of us collectively contribute our taxes to. But government, we always put this at the bottom of the priority, except there's elite policing.
There's elite
policing. So there's police for them, but not police for everyone.
What really confuses me every time we talk about the way forward is we would have senators here, we will have people in government, politicians who are part of government, and they will be telling me, a Nigerian, we are talking to government. I'm like, so who is this government that we're supposed to be talking to? You are government, and you're telling me we are waiting on government. We need to know
we have to wrap up, but
to hold accountable.
This is something we need to continue. I mean, I'm happy that we're starting the conversation. We're going to continue the conversation because the truth is that I think you even mentioned it last week that Nigeria is almost teetering on that financial time I said it. Now more Nigerians are talking about it. We're discussing restructuring, decentralization of policing. We'll be talking about it, but we need to really take it seriously at this point. Unfortunately.